Now that we're at the other end of this module, I think in hindsight, I'm kind of glad that we went through the complete end-to-end implementation of Bitlocker on a couple of different machines. It can seem easy sometimes to just gloss over some of the topics, especially some of the harder ones, Bitlocker being one of those examples. And so here in this module, we've not only talked about the things that the test requires, the specific tasks for this objective, but we also talked about how to actually get Bitlocker and EFS working and usable in your environment. We talked about managing EFS and to a much lesser extent, the Bitlocker certificates. We talked about the backup and restore functionality as well, which is very important because losing those recovery keys can mean for a very bad day if any of those files get lost or if any of those drives go into recovery mode. We talked about EFS and how to configure EFS, the EFS certificate, and the EFS recovery agent. Very important too if you're going to allow your users to use EFS in your environment. We then switched over to Bitlocker where we configured Bitlocker encryption in 3 different ways. First, on a desktop using the graphical user interface, second, using Windows PowerShell on a server, and then thirdly, using the Bitlocker policies that are built into Active Directory and Group Policy. And then lastly, we took a very quick look here at the complex but really useful network unlock feature that is that new component of Bitlocker that supports your abilities to not have to have users punching in that password in order to boot up their machine at every restart. Coming up next, we have one final objective here in our course on file and, well, print services, and that has to do with configuring advanced audit policies. Now, some of the stuff that we'll be talking about in that next module, we actually covered already in the 70-410 exam. So this will be, in some cases, something you may have seen already. But there are a couple of other things that I think worth visiting. It's in fact a very short module because the topics that are in it are relatively easy to explain. But I think it's worth taking a look at implementing auditing with group policy, the traditional old style version of auditing, as well as the new, much more granular auditing we have with the advanced auditing policies. We'll talk about the audit pol command, which is a way you can verify or even set advanced audit policies on a machine. And then we'll dig deeply into 2 different kinds of advanced ways to configure policies. These are expression-based audit policies and a couple of neat ways where you can apply them to registry areas or file systems across multiple disks at once, as well as how to configure removable device audit policies, where you can ensure that removable devices and their connection and disconnection are always understood and audited on your network. This continued conversation on auditing is the topic for our next module coming up.